All right, thank you all very much for coming. Go ahead and call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Here, I'd like to invite you to stand in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have a public comment period. If there's anyone that would like an opportunity to speak to the council on anything that's on the agenda or something else that's on your mind, this is your time. All right, we have some changes to the agenda. All right, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
The first and the second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yes, thank you all very much. All right, presentation from Skamania County Public Works.
Hello, Alan's one been doing this, I guess. And my understanding, he's just been giving you a report on permits from the last period, which is pretty minor. We had we took in 8 new permits, mostly mechanical, miscellaneous stuff, 1 remodel and a deck, it looks like. So if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you might have. I think the rain's probably slowed down things a little bit the last month or so. So yeah, so I can entertain some questions if you want, or I can go home.
Lucky you.
Marlon, how much longer do you have?
I was going to be out of here 3 years ago.
I know you were.
Dragging my feet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, we're glad you're still around.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Do you have a part-time person in the department now, or full-time?
2 full-time.
2 full-times.
In addition, we're back to 2.5.
Fantastic. Is that enough? Are you finding that we've got more work than you
We're
can?
busy lately. You know, the commercial stuff really cramps the style a little bit.
Well, I'm just seeing all the residential areas exploding, which is
yeah.
fantastic, but I'm sure it must be problematic perhaps for you.
Yeah. So we have definitely been busy.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Looks like you're off the hook. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Marlon.
Yeah. Thank you. See you.
Sure.
Would you like to switch?
There you go. It's broken.
No, it's
It's gonna be
sliding
like
down.
what do we-
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another one there.
I'll go over and grab this.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah. This one I can barely, yeah, feet barely hit the ground.
Staff will present a situation update on the sewer plants.
So Carolyn can provide an update on the projects that we currently have going on. Outside of that, the plant seems to be running still under the permitted levels. So that's been going pretty well. As far as the side streaming going by our local businesses, that's keeping our plant running. We'll see what happens as production kicks up and the summertime comes. And I also wanted to, this wasn't included until this afternoon. So in the packet, there is also an inspection report from when Department of Ecology showed up to our plant think it's the second day Carolyn was here, maybe.
Right.
Yeah. And I just wanted to highlight that they said that our plant was in fair condition, which is excellent. Because last time they came, it resulted in a couple of L&I issues and fines because we were out of compliance on a couple of items. So the plant has been greatly improved since the city's taken over and taken more pride in it. Just wanted to.
The comment on there was pretty nice. It was like, it's in good condition and it's being maintained to the best of the ability of the employees there. I was like, okay,
Right.
good.
Right, they're doing a great job.
Yeah.
So, and then they're excited for the improvements. I know they attended training last week and this week for a couple of days to get their wastewater certifications, and they had the plans out, and so they were getting excited about that. And then on the funding front, I still don't know about the $2.5 million as far as when we can use it or how it will be used. And then Carolyn can provide.
Yeah, so not sure if everybody's aware, we have 2 construction projects going right now, one up at Main D along Loop Road. Maybe you
notice.
You haven't noticed, yeah, well, you don't get out much. And then we've also got one going on that just broke ground on Monday down along Rock Creek. So it was a wet week. They both experienced challenges. But just kind of in general, Main D is about 30% completed. They ended up with some trench issues and had to close the road overnight the last 2 nights. But it's open now. It'll be open through the weekend. We don't anticipate that happening again. There is a change order for approval. I think it's in your packets. It'll be covered later in the agenda, but essentially it's for a line extension to replace some monuments and some time to add time for weather, unlocated utilities, and then some boulders that they weren't expecting. It pushes our substantial completion date out 12 days to June 10th. So just as a note, there's also another change order that we expect to come down the pipe. And it's the stormwater line that runs. And at our next meeting, I get really excited about construction, so I probably should have done a better job. But next meeting, I'll have pictures and maps and stuff. It always helps. It's cool stuff. But so they, so they get in this sewer trench, and we find out that the stormwater system that's like running parallel at the bottom of it is just gone because it's a CMP's old metal pipe, and so it's all rusted out. All the rain comes, it's now washing material into the now exposed sewer trench, and the stormwater system is now falling into the sewer trench. So that was on the plan to be replaced next year. So that's likely going to get pushed up. If we get a decent price from this contract, it'd be great to use him or them. Otherwise, we'd be looking at doing small works roster because you can't exactly leave it the way it is. So that's kind of coming down. It's about 250 feet of stormwater line and 3 catch basins. So that's something that is happening. And then so the collection system that's down that we're working on at Rock Creek is actually 3 projects that you guys probably know. The Cascade Interceptor, the pump station, and then Rock Creek Outfall are all being fixed as part of that one contract. They're about 10% done with the Cascade Interceptor. Again, they ran into a lot of water, trench issues, caving sides. So we ended up needing to go. They kind of saw it coming, and they said, we really shouldn't do this under single lane closures, which was the original contract requirement. They said we really should be doing full closures, and we're glad they said that because as soon as they got in, they were experiencing caving. So currently, or this week, they detoured Ryan Allen. I think tomorrow they'll start detouring through this county lot. Huge thanks to the county for their willingness to assist in all that. To make sure, we have safe passage for our vehicles. Also, big thanks to this Community County Seniors Coordinator. They've been able to accommodate like the use of that lot. Right. I know they're used to using that for parking and stuff. So That's, yeah, we've really appreciated everyone's willingness to work with us on these challenges. Dewatering, so all this water, the wastewater treatment plant is experiencing pretty heavy loading. So they open up a big hole, there's water coming in from the sides, groundwater. They have to pump it out to be able to do construction. So it's like dewatering. And so they're dewatering into our storm or our sanitary system. And so we're getting all that water at the wastewater treatment plant. There's requirements for them to filter. It's still ending up really muddy. The fines, there's a lot more fines than their filter is currently designed to accommodate. So we're working with them to try to get that pulled back a little bit. Because there's a lot of sediment going into the plant and it's not set up to handle that sort of loading. So we're working through that. Additionally, design changes. One manhole we had to shift because there's a utility conflict they weren't expecting. And then again, due to I believe the reason that this sewer system was placed in as close to the sidewalk as it could be was to accommodate single lane closures. Now that's making us really nervous. So we're likely going to need to shift the sewer system more to the center of the road so we don't end up pulling a main D and end up undermining the sidewalk and down there. So that's another change that could be coming to this group for approval. So we don't have change orders for either of those items yet, but it's possible. They both should be fairly minor. The manhole shift looks like it's a few $1,000s for a new manhole. The line shift will be a few extra feet of pipe. So they shouldn't be big ones, but we're not very far into that project. That's all I have. Question.
So if we make these fixes now at an additional cost of whatever it's going to be, probably less than 10,000 for both, that we're thinking that would prevent future issues where they would actually then have to start from ground zero if there were another issue. Is that correct? I mean, it's
Which
opened
project?
up now, right?
Yeah.
So you might as well
This
do it kind of
project?
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So this project, absolutely. So we were only supposed to have a 5-foot wide trench. And so we were only going to be paving a 5-foot wide trench. And we're like, oh, next year when we do that lane, we'll, get a decent overlay on that pavement section. We talked about doing a Band-Aid approach, right? So is there a way that we can kind of like push all the storm stuff back into place? But even if we do that, they're still going to end up patching all the way to the edge of the shoulder or to the sidewalk. So we're putting pavement back there anyway. So we might as well, since they're in there, they're excavating it, even though they don't want to, we might as well put in the pipe now. We talked a lot about if we put in the storm sewer where it is there a possibility that it would shift with our future work on that section of roadway? And the answer is really no. That sidewalk's not going to extend. So we put it in now, we won't have to touch it. So we're advancing that item of work in a place that really makes sense based on the construction conditions.
Right. Got it. Thank you.
And I just want to set expectations as well. So the potential cost for that change order could be up to $100,000. So it's
that
not
one, because
just
that
for
one,
that one, right? Right, because the pipe, it's a wider trench. It's not, so this project is about $270,000. So and that's in essence just putting pipe in the ground. So we're able to at least take advantage of them already being here. But it is a substantial section of pipe as well as additional excavation.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
When do we expect that decision will need to be made? I mean, they're not going to be here for very long.
No, that's a great question. I expect we'll have a price early next week.
Materials is our main concern.
Yeah. Right.
Availability.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And so will that require maybe a special council meeting for approval, or what are you thinking?
I think if we can get consensus on if there's an upper limit, or at least moving forward, and we can go forward with some sort of a level of confidence, and then call a special meeting if it exceeds that. But outside of that.
Okay. All right.
We would want to pull the trigger next week.
Yeah.
So,
So, I mean,
we don't have a ton of data today, but we
Right.
should have a lot more on Monday.
so they've had to stop work for the rest of this week. They stopped work yesterday
The
afternoon
rain or materials or both?
because of of this issue.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
And that's
Oh,
right. And so again, because of this issue, the road had to be closed fully for the past 2 nights.
Right.
Because of the compromise.
right.
road conditions.
And how many residents is that impacting a full road closure? Or is it still open to persons who live with that?
Well, it's open to people who live on that road,
Okay, yeah.
but
No, not anybody passing through.
Buses still, yeah.
And buses and, yeah, emergency services, the delivery folks. And they got a really nice note today from one of the residents about how easy they've been to work with. But
Oh,
Christy
good.
could probably share more as she's very close to the project.
And yeah, and we want to make sure she stays happy and everybody stays happy. Okay, thank you.
So are we looking for a number limit consensus
Tonight,
now?
yeah, now.
150,
We're comfortable.
good buffer.
I think 150 would be a good buffer.
and where would that come out of?
It would come out of the street fund. And so when I did the analysis on street fund, we were able to receive additional grant funding from closing out the Russell Street project. And so, and the cash carryover is higher than anticipated. So we have about 130,000, as well as the sales tax revenues have been coming in higher than projected,
Okay.
significantly higher than projected. So
So
between
150?
those two, 150 should be fine to come out of the street fund.
And that's the highest.
But if it
Well,
had to, if
without
it
council,
exceeded
without-
it, then
without
we have to have a special
Prior
meeting.
council
Right.
approval for us
Right.
moving forward, all of this will still come to council.
But feeling confident to give the thumbs up for the
Right.
project. Is what we're looking for.
Okay.
I think it's a good idea to get it done.
Makes sense.
Well, I think if there wasn't a hole, we wouldn't have known there was a problem. But now
Right.
luckily there is a hole, so there's no calling out equipment and
To make a
digging
new
bigger hole. Yeah, so
Well, and,
I mean,
We're
it's
doing it
there.
later,
Right.
after everything's been fixed.
Right.
well, and we knew the stormwater was the issue, which is why we were gonna pair it with the road project
Right.
eventually. We just didn't anticipate it impacting the
So
sewer
this is
project.
technically kind of like this is a project that was being pushed that we're not gonna have to do then, we're just gonna have to
Right.
bite the
Part-
bullet today.
Part of it.
Yeah.
Part of it.
I'm good with 150. So is that all you need is just for all of us to say yes?
Mhm.
Yep.
Yes.
all right, thank you all. Unfinished business, so there's nothing, we're just waiting on the Board of Cascade Locks attorney to put their stamp of approval on that interlocal.
Correct. Yep.
Moving on.
Okay.
There will be some changes to the job description just to incorporate what Port Cascade Locks has. They're reviewing that now, and that should be for you next.
All right, Ben, you're up.
Okay, in your consent agenda, you saw that Department of Ecology had approved our SMP, so that is good news. The state statutes also require a comprehensive plan and development regulations to be consistent with the SMP, and so that is what the proposal is that's going through the Planning Commission right now. That's a proposed amendment to the comprehensive plan and to the zoning code. While they are doing the amendment to the zoning code, they're looking to also incorporate interpretations that they've done. So this is a process where we acknowledge that we don't know all the possible uses that somebody might propose in the future. So when a use is proposed, the Planning Commission reviews it according to certain criteria. And then they make a decision, and that decision sits in a notebook. And the next time we do a zoning code amendment, we try to incorporate that decision. In this case, it's prohibiting occupancy of a travel trailer as a residence in the R2 district. It's just been an unlisted use in that district. And also a zoning administrator interpretation allowing garages, residential outbuildings in the C1 district. Then They are continuing a process that they started in 2017 to consolidate the use categories of the zoning code. So that's just what I said. We can't anticipate all the uses, but we do our best. Our best leading up to 2017 was to identify about 270 distinct uses in the code. And that's too much for the town. So we try to consolidate those and better explain them and be consistent across all the zones with how those uses are described. So over time, that has reduced the number to about 110. This would reduce it another 9. And so we're around 100 uses that we consider. Some of those 9 uses that are being reduced are related to boating facilities and watercraft themselves. So right now you have use categories in your zoning code for marina, boating facilities for commercial industrial uses, rowboats, and non-motorized. Yeah. So this simplifies it and makes it consistent with the SMP by just saying boating facilities and overwater structures, which is a use category identified in the SMP itself. And so if somebody comes in and says, what does the zoning say about that? It just says, see the SMP. So no conflicts with that. And then the biggest real policy change that they're considering here would be a reduction of the public use and recreation district setbacks. And so that is the publicly owned properties adjacent to Rock Creek Drive. Most of them are inside of Rock Creek Drive. The front yard setback is currently 25 feet. The street side setback is 10 feet. And so if you have a street going along the front of the property, buildings have to be 25 feet from that street. But if it's along the side of the property, they only have to be 10 feet from that. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It makes even less sense when you consider the built environment out there. There are 9 parcels there. 7 of those parcels have buildings that are closer than 25 feet to the right-of-way line. And so the proposal that the Planning Commission is working on is to reduce that to 10 feet. That would make 5 of the existing buildings conforming instead of non-conforming. Reducing that, they in making the reduction, they are concerned about pedestrian safety, and so they're applying other pedestrian safety measures to this zone that they already have in other zones. And so that's a vision triangle next to the where a driveway intersects with a road or a sidewalk, and then a minimum driveway length of 20 feet so that you can get a rig parked in there and still have pedestrians along the sidewalk.
So what area of Rock Creek is this? Like between what and what are you, the lots that you're referring to?
It
There's
is
several.
kind of a hodgepodge, but the fairgrounds parking lot is where it starts if you're going westward on
That's
Rock
the
Creek
west.
Drive.
Okay,
So
so like to
it's-
Community Lodge?
Kind
not
of,
quite.
almost kind of.
The
So
house is just stuck in that little strange little
that
section of
is a different
thing right
zone.
there.
That's a different on the outside. So moving away from Rock Cove, on the outside, the only section that's PR right now is where the food bank is and where the county's road crew
Right.
buildings are.
Okay.
That's the only section that's PR on the outside. On the inside, all of it is with the exception of the county properties that form the peninsula across from the fire hall site.
So I was wondering if the fire hall site was included in that. Okay.
So that's the big one. Planning Commission is working on this. What you have attached to this reflects their request from their April meeting, and they believe it's possible to make a recommendation at the May meeting. And so that the draft of their recommendation is attached to this, and if they make that recommendation, you would be able to adopt it at that meeting.
Okay.
Any questions so far?
So they're hoping, what I'm seeing is that they're hoping to make a recommendation at its May meeting, which is next week, correct?
The second Monday in May.
Oh, I'm sorry, May. I was thinking we're in May already. Stop it. Everything else is going so fast, right? Yeah.
So it's-
Okay, and so it'll be presented to us at our next meeting. Okay.
If they adopt.
Yes.
So their next meeting is May 9th, and then the next council meeting is May 19th.
Okay, got it. So we'll have 10 days to kind of consider that. All right. Okay, thanks, Ben.
Any other comments, questions?
Yeah, I've got a quick question, Mr. Mayor.
Go for it.
Ben, you brought up the prohibiting staying in an RV trailer type thing in this, what was the R2 district? If I understand what you said, that would prohibit it, the change would prohibit that from occurring, is that correct?
Correct.
Is there any caveat for temporary? Like if, I can think of 2 or maybe 3 times in the past 12 years I've lived where I've lived, where I've had friends come in from out of town with an RV and they just spent the night, 1 or maybe 2 nights there and then moved on. Is there any caveat for temporary use like that?
No, and can we have those license plates, Paul?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Good thing they're out of town already.
That's right.
There's not. What this addresses is occupancy as a dwelling. And
Okay.
so the transient nature there would be regulated differently than as a zoning use. I don't know exactly how, but this would be, hey, I sold my house and I want to spend my time in an RV on my vacant lot. So.
And I can imagine a legitimate use in that sense is if you have purchased an empty lot and you are actively building a house and in the meantime, you're living in a trailer. That seems legitimate to me.
Mhm.
I know that writing in rules for that convolutes the system.
That
But it
already
seems fair.
exists. That already
Okay.
exists. So there's a 6-month grace period where you can do that. Once you have a permit issued to you, you're allowed to occupy it. It's called a temporary emergency construction or repair dwelling. That's an allowed use. If you need to extend beyond 6 months, then you can ask for planning commission approval of that.
Good
At the
enough.
same
Thank you.
time that the planning commission reviewed this request to just live in it outright, they also reviewed a request to have some sort of medical emergency dwelling. And they didn't feel like the time was ripe to really make a decision on that. And so that remains a prohibited use.
Okay.
I don't understand that. What would the scenario be for that?
If somebody has COVID in your house,
Well, I thought like my brother has to come take care of me because of a medical emergency with me.
Oh.
He's gonna live in my
RV.
RV for a year until I
Right.
recover from whatever that
Okay.
is.
Okay.
Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly.
Okay,
So they
that
didn't
makes
think
sense.
that that was a bad idea. They just weren't prepared to evaluate that as an interpretation. They saw that more as an amendment, and they wanted to go through the process to really think about that as an amendment.
Okay. That's good.
Any other comments, Paul? All right. Okay.
I'm good.
Yeah.
So about a month ago, staff started looking at some historic permits as part of just in our day-to-day. Sometimes we run across like, oh, hey, that's a duplex, but it's not being billed as a duplex, or hey, that building has an ADU and it's not being billed as such. And so that happened, and we went back through known permits that were issued on the building side and on the planning side for buildings of those type, and did a reconciliation regarding those that were approved for accessory dwelling units, but weren't charged accordingly for those utilities.
Mhm.
And I think it goes back to 2014 or 16, and all the way up to, I think there was a permit that was issued just last year as well. And so the ones that were issued prior to 6 years, just the balances reflect just the utilities and no system development charges because the 6-year statute of limitations has been exceeded. And then some of them actually had paid system development charges, but weren't being paid base fees or vice versa. So again, we did the calculations on all of those. There have been, I believe there were 8 in total. And so far we've received 4 requests for waivers. 2 I don't anticipate because the limits were lower. It was still extended to them. And 2, I believe we're still waiting to hear back. So there may be additional. The Attorney General made a ruling or gave an opinion regarding the ability to waive fees or to waive back billings due to the economic impact COVID has had on people. And so that is, in essence, what allows us to be able to waive fees.
How do we know that COVID impacted these individuals?
They have sent a letter to the city stating that they've been economically impacted by COVID. Would you like a copy of those letters?
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that any of them would lie, but if I was looking at a, $6,000 or $7,000 back bill, and I had the ability to somehow figure out that it could be waived by COVID, I would sure jump on that bandwagon. I think we need to do more than just accept a letter from them saying this is the situation. Whether that's a copy of their their income tax, whatever it might be. I mean, somebody may be holding a $150,000 job and write a letter. And I'm not saying that they would, but we're talking a total of over $13,000 in taxpayer dollars here. And just to take at face value for a letter, I don't think that's prudent. That's just me.
And so did these 8 people reach out to us? Did they initiate that contact? We did.
Part of the challenge is the bills that we provide don't have a level of detail for them to know what's really on their bill. It has base fees and it has usage. You can figure out what your usage fees are, but as far as the base fees go, that can be challenging because we don't state what you're being billed for because it's so small. And talking with our software company, there's not the ability to make that change unless we wanted to go to paper, which is an added expense.
Right. So I'm kind of on the same bandwagon as Dave. It's like, how is there any accountability that's required of these people to demonstrate that COVID truly has impacted their household?
Can I comment at all? Because I'm one of those people.
Sorry, I shouldn't say
Go ahead.
Can I?
Please.
So first off, I would say there was no accountability on the part of the city. So when I moved into Stevenson 11 years ago, I went before the council to get approval for my apartment. So my apartment was known from its very conception. And I basically have a house that was built with 3 bedrooms and 3 baths. So nothing was added to it, no reconfiguration.
Can I interrupt you
Sure.
briefly? I'm terrible at this and I apologize. Can you say your name and where you live for the record?
Oh,
please?
okay. I live on Ryan Allen Road and my name is Elizabeth Galloway. So I, like probably the other 8 people involved, just got a bill for over $5,000. And so when you talk about taxpayer monies, I mean, I've always paid my sewer, I've always paid my water, never been more than 2 people in my house. And it is an enormous burden. And I personally am self-employed and I'd be happy to show my taxes. I always have them done professionally to prove that, as a self-employed person, my my income was cut in half. We had a mandatory closure at work, and a lot of people had a mandatory, so that's no income.
Mhm.
And you never really bounce back from that. You never make up for it. So I would be happy to show my income for those last 2 years compared to this year. But it's an enormous burden for people that had absolutely no idea that this was ordinance, a law, or on the books.
Mhm.
So.
Thank you.
So in the past, when we've had similar utility issues.
When we
and-
did the meter switch out.
Yep.
And there was a time, and there will be a time, where there is no wiggle room at all. So city mistake, doesn't matter, you owe us the money. We have a window of opportunity to not charge
Mhm.
due to some sort of, previous oversight.
Mhm.
So really just trying to extend that, to make that possible instead of putting undue burden because of a city mistake.
Is this something that, I don't know, I'm asking a very blind question, and it could be a very stupid one, I'm not sure. Is this something that we could get COVID relief, federal funding to cover?
No.
Okay. Because I imagine if there are 8, there are probably more. Do we know that?
We're doing a review as best we
Mhm.
can.
Mhm.
Like I said, mostly going through the building permit files.
And then we would reach out to people who have been impacted. Okay. Mhm.
So can we not make a motion on this at this time to further evaluate, as he says, and maybe talk about it next time, or?
That, yes, that can be done.
But you want to get it dealt with?
Well, yes, and there's, I don't know how it would work as far as the extension of credit, because we have a policy that allows us to create a payment plan, which requires late fees to be incurred and everything. So these adjustments have already been made on their accounts.
Mhm.
And so that's just one of the things that we would have to work out. So council would just need to waive any potential late fees or penalties that may be charged
Because we delay our
because you
decision.
delayed your decision. And then I would like to know specifically what you're looking for
Mhm.
as far as justification and what that criteria is.
Quick question here. Is there any issue involving gifts of public funds involved in this?
No, that's what the state attorney general's memo is about, is that
Okay.
it doesn't violate the gifting of public funds because of the impact, the
nature.
COVID impact.
Mhm.
So Dave?
I'm kind of at a loss here. So, I mean, I certainly feel for these people who have been impacted by COVID. And this was our error that prompted their concern and their inability to pay this.
The normal reaction or a reaction is a mistake that it's an oversight that was missed.
Mhm.
So you would like to be able to say our mistake, our problem.
Mhm.
What normally we don't have that. We have a small window of opportunity to say our mistake, you don't have to pay. However, if that does not sit right with you guys, then yes, we're gonna have to come up with some way. The window's closed.
Mhm.
So, we don't get this opportunity to make it right
Yeah,
very often.
right.
Well, it sits right with me. I think that if we as a city made the mistake, we made the mistake. And I'm in favor of waiving it myself.
So my next question is then what are we doing to make certain that it doesn't happen again? I mean, so that we don't catch people off guard with these types of surprise.
So we've been
bills.
going, I mean, Marlon left, but he can attest to the changes that we're making to our building process
Mhm.
and permitting process and making sure that all of the loops are closed as part of that.
Mhm.
That's process improvements.
So then this also entails the county to some degree then, if you're referring to Marlin.
So where the loop was missed was from the processing of the permit side of things. And so where we would charge water or sewer impact fees, and then it wouldn't get charged when that account was set up, or when the account changed to say a kitchen was added to an ADU, to make it an ADU. And so that gap is being closed by our process changes.
Okay.
So it doesn't involve the county, but it's part of that whole process.
Right, okay. So I guess I would be more concerned about that this just doesn't happen again. Right.
So what did you say that there was 8 people that was impacted by this?
Right now, yes.
And so only a few of them have, what, 4 or 5?
Four have requested,
Right, have
there may be
requested.
2 more.
Right, okay.
And do we know what the dollar amount is of those other 2 combined?
No, I don't. I have them at my desk. But
So this 13 is so far.
It's so far. Right, so far. Would it be like upwards of 20? If these 2 said yes?
So one is an additional SDC for water and sewer. And sewer is $6,000, and water is 14% of $8,000.
So
that would be
maybe
one of
25,
them.
Yeah. Well, I just needed to ask questions to better understand it. I think we do have very few chance to actually do some good.
Any
Yeah,
other,
in
any
this
other time,
regard.
it's an awkward conversation, and there's no
Right.
way around it.
Right.
It's a payment plan with interest.
Yeah.
Right.
What are you thinking, Dave?
Well, what I'm thinking is, if we're gonna do it for these 4, we need to do it for everybody. Just because they don't, contact the city and say, hey, what's this all about? I want this waived. Because 4 people come forward and say they want it waived. We go ahead and okay that. But yet, for the ones that haven't come forward, for the city to turn around and charge them those fees, that's not right either.
But they know about it, right?
They know about it. We've reached out, we've told them, hey, but from an auditor standpoint, I can't just blanket give it without someone saying that they meet this criteria.
Right.
And that's why I just need something in writing from them saying that they've been,
Yes, please, and thank you.
yes.
Right.
So do we just say then, anybody who comes forward, we just automatically approve? And so maybe these
Right.
others just haven't made the phone call yet.
Written letter.
Written
whatever it
letter.
Or
is,
written a
yes.
letter, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
yes,
Yeah.
right, and that's why I say expect more at the next council meeting.
Right.
So,
Okay.
So these at this one, and then expect at least a couple more probably by the next one.
When does this window close?
when the economic impact of COVID would be over, so,
so
right, I mean,
It's
it's,
not
It's wide open.
Fluid.
it's subjective. I will continue to reach out to Ken to see if it will be within the realm of possibility.
So tonight then, you're just looking for us to approve these particular people,
Correct.
knowing that we could be making another motion next meeting.
month or-
Okay, okay, got it. All right, then I'll make a motion to approve waiving the back billing in relation to unbilled ADUs for the customers listed in the staff memo for a total amount of $13,285.85.
Second.
First and second, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Thank you. Liana? I was looking forward to this day. Here it
Right?
is. Here it is. It's buried. The
5
council
years,
just
yeah,
buried it.
I
Bury it.
know.
Item C.
I know.
Just item
Well,
C.
I was trying to get heavier stuff out of the way.
Oh, heavier than $10 million.
Well,
$10 million.
not really. My perspective is skewed. So yes, the low bid was $10,342,431. I included the engineer's recommendation in the council packet this afternoon. The good news is it's only about 8% higher than our engineer's estimate of $9.6 million. We were talking with WashDOT today, and they were saying to expect 30%. escalation.
Wow.
So it wasn't close to that, and we were very thankful when they were all opened. So this has been reviewed by ecology. And and there haven't been any bid protests. So this is it. I believe one thing that has saved us is because we went out for the equipment ourselves. So while we have had a challenge managing 7 additional contracts, it has saved us money in time. Yes, and time.
Right,
Right.
yeah.
Who would like to go on record making the motion?
Oh my God, I'm afraid to.
Oh, I totally want to. I've been here since day
Go ahead.
one. I want to do this so badly.
Right, do it.
Please let me. All right. A motion to award the wastewater treatment plant construction contract to Stellar J for an amount of $10,342,431 and no cents.
Second.
First and a second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Yay, Paul, you saw it through.
All right, Liana,
And
change order.
then, change order. Oh, next time I'll put Carolyn's name on it.
There we go.
That's why we heard about this.
It's habit, yeah. And again, there's change orders are just part of construction. So I think we've already, previous to the other projects even being started, we already had 2 change orders. So it's just the nature of the beast. Unfortunately, they all can't be as small as this one.
You don't know that. Maybe they could.
Right, yeah.
Maybe we're setting a new
Well,
precedent.
Like I said, for the other project, it was actually a reduction in cost.
Wow.
Wow. About 7,000.
To be fair, I
Nice.
wish my change orders cost that much. So it's perspective.
Yeah. We just approved $10 million.
Right.
Right. This is packaging.
Yeah.
Hard earned.
Mhm. Okay.
We're just gonna motion here.
Yep.
No.
Voted in
Uh,
the motion.
Yeah,
on the
make a
second
motion
page.
to approve change order 1 for the main deconstruction project in the amount of $8,850, excluding sales tax, and an extension of 12 calendar days as presented.
Second.
First and second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Internal equipment rates, Liana.
Oh, wait.
No,
Skip.
Nope.
No.
no, there's another one.
You sure did.
Oh, I sure did,
Skip
because I
B.
got caught up by the, okay, yes, sorry.
So I'm learning about right-of-way permits. So type D is the type of right-of-way permits that requires city council approval. It's basically the approval to put some sort of structure in the city right-of-way that exceeds some threshold for removal or exceeds some life expectancy. And so the homeowner at 1030 Rhine Island Road has requested to put a fence in the right-of-way running parallel to Rhine Island Road. It would be like 2 to 5 feet probably within our right-of-way. The reason being is there's an existing tree that they want to protect that's sitting right on the edge of the right-of-way. There is a stormwater sewer line that would need to be avoided. It's been discussed with the homeowner. And as part of the right-of-way permit and the improvements, they got to call 811, that kind of good stuff. The fence has to be a certain height. So all those sorts of requirements. There's no foreseeable, or there's no proposed development in the foreseeable future in that right-of-way section. So Public Works is comfortable with approving that right-of-way permit.
What's it for? To protect a tree, you said?
Yeah,
From what?
from being right where the fence would be.
Also, they just want to extend around it, so
They
it's
wanted the right
included
of way,
in
they
there.
had to cut the tree.
Oh,
Or
got it.
come on on their side of the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
what
not a very
happens,
big yard.
so what happens, Carolyn, if down the road, foreseeable future, the city decides they need that right of way? Are we responsible for replacing that fence?
Or the tree.
No, I mean, the way that the code's written is that it would be the responsibility of the homeowner. If they refuse to, we could take it down, if we had to.
I don't want to lose the authority to be able to go in and remove that fence without it costing the city anything to replace the fence
Mhm.
if we allow this.
Yeah, and I could and should, probably should have had it pulled up, but I believe that it says that in.
Well, I want to make sure. I don't
Yeah.
want to believe it.
Mhm.
I want to make sure.
Fair
It
enough.
can be written into the,
And we can also,
Into the-
as a
Yeah.
condition of approval too.
So why would we allow them to go outside of the tree rather than inside?
Well, the
They were
inside
in
is
their
their
yard.
property.
Right.
They
Right.
wanna- Yeah, they
It's-
just want to maximize the usable space of their yard. The tree is part of their yard. They've got some planter boxes as well.
You can put them on the spot.
Oh.
I'm the troublemaker.
Two for two, wow.
This is gonna be brought up.
I didn't want to put you on the spot.
Because I don't have a visual, I can't see what it is, so the.
So I want to put a
Oh,
small,
here we go.
small fence in my front yard.
Yeah.
And so I measured from the white line in the road back 25 feet. And that's where I'd like to start my fence, is 25 feet back from the white line in the road. Because there's a tree that I want to get on the other side of. And if I can't capture those 2 to 4 feet, I'm fine with that. But I just presented it to the city because it was leaving a 25-foot space between where my fence starts and the road.
It's a 50, and just as another note, it's a 50-foot right of way in there, which should be 25 feet from center line. I am not even 100% sure that you would be in the right of way, if you did it.
That was
So-
gonna be my question. Is that
How
been
does
surveyed
that
so we
math-
know exactly where that
We-
right of way line is? Because
Yeah.
it may be the tree
Rather
is
than-
on her property
Right.
rather than in the right of way.
Yeah, that's very true. So when we were looking at it this afternoon, I was like, the math isn't really adding up, but without a survey, we wouldn't know specifically. And being that it's such a small amount and we were comfortable with it, even if it was going to be within the right of way, I wanted to go ahead and put it out here. Chances are it's actually not in the right of way when she puts it in. And if it were to be surveyed, it's a high likelihood it wouldn't even be in the right of way. But on the off
Can I
chance
add-
that it is, because what she submitted shows it as being
In the
up
right
to
of way.
5 feet past the right of way, which could conflict with also the 25-foot measurement from the line.
Mhm.
But the center line of the road now and the edge, the fog lines now might
Might not be on.
yeah, they might not be accurate. So
Can I add something?
go for it. I don't know who's talking.
Sorry.
Paul, hi, Paul.
I think it's.
No, it's Ken, city attorney. Sorry, I'm hovering above you guys, but so a type D permit contemplates that there will be some form of agreement between the property owner and the city. And typically, an agreement of that kind will have a revocation provision that says that under whatever circumstances the city needs to, it can remove the fence or require the property owner to remove the fence from the right of way. So, and there is a revocation term in the code, but that's usually if they misrepresented something or there's some danger to the public. But the agreement itself will specify a reason or a right of revocation of the city. So hopefully that answers Dave's question.
Thanks,
you.
Ken.
Thank you.
I always look at these things as maybe these one-offs as, the exception to the rule, whatever we decide can affect future one-offs, right? So it's this first time I just really
Every
like
one of
to
those one-offs
investigate it.
would have to go through the same process.
Yeah, that's true. too.
But
All
to
the
me, it
time.
also, it sounds like that it may not be in the right of way.
Right,
So,
yeah.
like, it could be for nothing.
Exactly.
But bases are covered.
Yeah.
Right, it'll be in the agreement and Public Works is okay with it right now, and
Mhm.
it all sounds
Right.
like it should be okay for,
And any improvements that would be done to that road would be surveyed.
right,
If-
exactly.
And there are
I moved
lots
As
to
far as like.
I move to
extending
approve the
sidewalk.
type D right away permit for 1030 right now.
Second,
First, second, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye.
Now. Leona.
So I don't know if anyone's had a chance to look at the financial report.
it was big.
I know, I've graphs and charts are fun. But it was also noted last year that the revenues for the equipment services fund weren't trending as high as necessary to keep up with the expenses and the growth of expense. I mean, fuel's just one. And one of the ways that we've been able to maintain that fund is because we've been pushing out the purchase of a new vehicle because we haven't needed it, and then supply issues. And so in looking at the rates, the last time they were updated was 2012. And this rate escalation will be looked at every year to make sure that it's still in line, just as we do with our water and sewer funds, to make sure that it trends as needed. So that's sort of where the rates are falling now. What this does is it does eat up some of the cash reserve that we have, but it's to maintain and to ensure that we don't have a higher increase, because this cost is spread out amongst all of the departments and all the other funds.
I'll move to approve resolution 2022-394, adopting the interdepartmental rates for equipment services.
Okay.
First, second, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye.
Thank you. All right, Leona. Fish Recovery Board.
Yes, Fish Recovery Board, exciting stuff. There's a Southwest Washington City representative for the Fish Recovery Board. Our planning commissioner was a former member of this board, wasn't Jeff Freckle? Yeah.
Administrative staff.
Okay. But there are two candidates, and the city gets to choose one. Their information was included in the council packet, and so I just opening it up for discussion.
So all the other cities in the district are going through the same process? Picking two?
I don't know what their process is, but yeah, they pick one. You pick one of the two. And then I will sign it and send it in.
So we just make our selection and sign, or do we need to actually?
You would make it as
do
a council.
formal
So the
decision?
city has
Okay.
one
Okay,
to submit.
okay. So I still don't understand what we need to do. Do we need
We
to,
need
we
to
need to have a
pick one.
conversation
Right,
right
we need to pick
now
one or
and
the other.
submit one? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'll just start by saying that I don't know either of these two people. So I'm really just basing my decision off of the information that they provided about themselves. And my preference was toward candidate Mr. Brian Wood. I don't know if anyone else wants to throw a name in the hat.
Do you want to just make a motion then and see what happens?
Yeah, I could do that. I make a motion to select Brian Wood as the City of Stevenson's candidate for Southwest Washington City's representative to the Lower Columbia Fish Recovery Board.
I will second that.
First and second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye.
You. Well done, man. We do have some informational items in your packet for your perusal.
This one.
So you wanted to take a peek at that before we moved on?
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking at
Have you had a chance to look at it, Dave?
so they outlined the training,
bonds training, yeah. Mhm.
going into more detail than I've seen
It might have something to do with that.
We mentioned it a couple of times and they, sounds like they listened this time.
And they provided that prior. I just forgot to add it because he provided it separately. It was just on my radar. So
Oh, so my.
it wasn't due
phone-
to their
So my
tardiness.
phone
it was-
call and my badgering to.
I hadn't had a chance to give them a call, to get a call back yet before they knew I was talking.
That's fine.
I think it was your badgering.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, no, I'm fine with Chief Wan's response. I'm Sheriff Wan's response. I knew, but I wanted it reported,
Right, you
As
said, we were
such.
like, no, they had to have this training and it wasn't,
but yet they were not reporting
Right.
correctly,
right.
or it was not reported to us correctly. So, yeah,
Either way, we can see it now.
that's what I wanted. I wanted something on record.
Right.
Perfect. Staff report. Ben?
So planning commission is working on this comprehensive plan amendment that was already introduced to you. They're also working on the amendment proposal that was submitted by city staff in 2018, delayed for COVID, submitted in 19 and delayed for COVID. As they're working through that, they've simplified what that proposal would be and are fine tuning the details for the public release of that. They haven't set up public engagement expectations for that. They will do so after they get their head around what the overall amendment proposal is so that they can answer questions that might come up. So that one is on a slower track than the one that could come before you in May. So more likely sometime in the summer. The Downtown Stewards of Success Subcommittee has been meeting to review and recommend action on the draft downtown plan that was developed in the summer of 2019. Again, put on hold for COVID purposes. They're moving fast with that. They aim to have public release and of their intentions ready in time for the street route to open on Memorial Day weekend. So,
So glad that's coming back.
Yeah,
Me too.
yeah. So that is coming toward you. I believe on Monday, the county did the testing of the stormwater in Rock Creek Drive. Can you confirm that?
On Monday, the county did the testing.
Uh,
Oh, yes, they did,
So-
or Tuesday, earlier this week at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
think we dropped a bottle on Tuesday with them.
yeah. So they are working on that. I haven't heard anything about when they expect to report on that though. But they are moving forward with that. I sent you an email mid-month about one of the grant proposals that we're looking at for sidewalks. This would be a safe routes to school project. And so we're engaging the residents of Cascade Village. It's one of your low-income subsidized housing complexes in town. And there's not a single sidewalk that goes to that.
I know,
Right.
it's crazy.
Not one. So we've identified 3 possible routes for their consideration and say, tell us which one of these works the best for you and do you actually want that? So we got 12 responses to that so far. There are 36 units in the facility there. So 12 responses so far. And I'll follow up with her tomorrow to see if there were any that came in the last week too. So
And what's the general consensus with those 12 respondents?
It's
Are you
been
seeing a
mixed.
trend?
It's been mixed. One of them is less popular, but 2 of them are really close. So we'll bring that in. We will get the engineer's estimates for what that looks like and submit the grant for that by June 8th, June 7th, June 8th, early June.
Mhm.
It's a long course to decision for that. So it's one where the Department of Transportation submits it to the legislature. Legislature wouldn't adopt their budget until June, July of 23. And so DOT won't say whether we get funded until legislature adopts it.
But we have to start the process.
Have to start the process. There's additional funds in that Safe Routes to School account this year, and so we really hope to be able to get that. We'll also look for a separate bike and pedestrian grant for the overlook project. Different funding source than we had the last time, but again, it could be a better one for us if we get it. So.
And in regards to the sidewalks in the apartment complex, is that something that should be on our minds as we continue, well, as we hope to develop new apartment complexes, that is just that is included in the bidding package or the design? So we don't have to think of this as an afterthought.
Yeah, Carolyn is getting up to speed with several things, and one of them is the public works standards, road standards, and the holes in those. So I think that's something that
I'm on the second route, one of the 3 routes. Yeah, I have an opinion about that too.
Well, this came up at our meeting earlier this week, is that, yes, this is the catalyst. This is what started it, that there's great opportunity. We've identified that we need this sidewalk, figuring out the path, but just say, okay, well, let's take a step back. We've got lots of sidewalk plans that we've made. So one of the things, once major construction is off Carolyn's plate, then we'll start looking at what prioritizing, identifying, prioritizing, looking for money, that sort of thing.
Yeah, where I am, on one of those routes, there's sidewalk on the top side, and there's a lip that's 18 inches, and the other side has no sidewalk, and we're right by the school. There are families that cut through backyards and do all kinds of stuff that I see every day. So there's definitely things to talk about, because I walk my kid there. We walk on the side that has no sidewalk. So
just because it's fun. That's the sidewalk.
What's fun is that I have I don't own the part of my driveway, the part of my driveway that connects to the road. And there's a lip that's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's got a cool for my car. So that's fun too.
Yeah.
That's the non-sidewalk side.
Well, so the sidewalk side, that is the oldest sidewalk in town.
Wow.
It was
Historical.
the first sidewalk in town.
Put a plaque on
Yeah,
it.
to get it black.
No, seriously. So it went
That's a cool
from
story.
George Christensen's house there at the corner, along Rose Lawn, down McKinley, down Jefferson, down School Street, and to the Stevenson Bank. So
Oh,
George
that's
Christensen
funny.
was the banker.
That is so
So he
funny.
got his own sidewalk.
Built the
Right.
sidewalk so that we could walk to work. So it actually is like a historic.
Wow,
But
that's so
I mean,
funny.
that lip is wild.
Yeah.
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 It
So
was a tall man.
I don't. My son likes it because it gets water. Jump into it. Anyway, yes.
Probably be a path that's like commiserated in sense.
Right. That's funny.
Anyway, yeah, you know.
Anything else?
At the May meeting, you should expect a agreement from Department of Ecology on the shoreline trail grant. So didn't get that one to you in time for this meeting, but that is the grant program that will identify trails and public access sites along the shoreline and estimate costs to do that, so that you all can start setting aside a fund to acquire those easements and construct those trails. It will form the basis of our parks plan, and onto that basis, we can add things like the Park Plaza project and other parks as we develop the concepts more over time.
Funny you should bring that up, because I have that written down here to ask you about where we need to go next in regards to maybe addressing a trail on that west side of Rock Creek going up to eliminate that whole problem up on No Name Road and all that towards the falls. So,
That's part of it.
okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
And that's all.
Carolyn?
Public Works arena, lots of construction. The wastewater treatment plant's about ready to get rolling as well. Right-of-way permits, development permits, infills, community lodge has some stuff going on. Just small improvement projects, people doing fences, doing driveways, remodeling basements, that kind of thing. As Lana mentioned, our staff attended the wastewater treatment operators training last week and this week, and they're getting excited about the new plant. In water, we did a pretty significant repair along Rock Creek this morning, and it went very quickly. So pat on the back for the guys, because they had to turn off water for a number of homes and for a couple commercial buildings. Talked a lot about streets. I think kind of one of the things we've been talking about a lot, and when I get some time, about getting GIS mapping for our assets, including streets, doing some sort of streets assessment so that we have the data to put together informed plans. And it's not just about the squeaky wheel, it's about the condition and lifespan and how many people the streets will service. I attended the APWA conference for a day last week. One of the items that came up that kind of piqued my interest, and I don't know if it'll go anywhere, is you can get an public works accreditation. So I know that our new water treatment operator is excited and would like to get our lab accredited. I don't see any reason why we couldn't and shouldn't get our public works department accredited. So that would mean getting SOPs in place, having good planning, having all the data, right, to show that you're doing a good job. I would expect, I don't know, maybe it's pie in the sky, but I could see that being something that we could do.
He's very excited, by the way. I met him and he talked to me
He
about
loves
that.
his
So
plant.
he
Yeah,
is so
his plant.
excited. Yeah.
His fish did die. He can't find his fish. I don't know.
What happened?
I don't think these guys heard this story.
I did not hear the story.
Yeah,
So what
so I thought we talked about the fish at the last
No, it
meeting.
was at the staff meeting.
Oh, is that a staff meeting? Oh,
Do tell.
so kind of one of
Natalie was
the
here. No.
innovative technologies, and what some public works departments are doing are adding goldfish to their clarifiers to help keep algae down and floatables down. And he heard about it, he got excited about it, researched it, got the okay from ecology, and I think he bought up with his own, out of his own pocket, like 10 little goldfish, stuck them in the clarifiers, but it got cold. I don't know if they were big enough, so I don't think they're there anymore. We do want to give it another shot, but probably bigger
It's
fish
goldfish
in
or
the summer.
bleach. That's what it comes down to, right?
Yeah, but
What?
Goldfish or bleach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
yeah, it's a
So
good natural choice, as long as they can make it.
something clever,
Yeah.
I think. So
Yeah.
more power to him. And just a reminder, plug for Spruce Up Stevenson on Saturday. So
Yeah.
we'll all be there.
I'll be there.
Scoop me.
How are you've got new staff? Do you have any vacancies still?
No, that's one of the exciting things I think for the city, besides the landscaper part-time. We don't have any vacancies, and
Nice.
so I attended the Public Works Directors Roundtable and the City Engineer Roundtable at the conference, and that was something that everyone was complaining about, having vacancies, not being able to fill them. So,
City, I like
you
it.
know, hats off to our management and our hiring staff for getting us fully staffed. One of the topics that I'm really interested in at our retreat, one of the things I'd like to focus on is staff retention, because it's expensive to train staff. It's expensive and challenging, and to go without with such a small team, when you lose one, like that's a
Yeah.
big chunk for a period of time. So I think that there's things that we can do to help with our staff retention. So,
Both of the new hires have fit, I don't think all three of you fit right
Yeah,
in,
they're-
hit the ground running. It's great to see enthusiastic response.
Fantastic.
yeah, good hires, I think.
Well, listening to, you know, all the various issues that were going on with these two projects are going at the exact same time. I'm so glad you're here. So
Yeah. Lots of rocks, lots of hard places this week.
Uh-huh.
Traffic challenges.
Yeah, my person is in construction. He's like, why are they even digging? And he's like, I'm not digging right now. It's wet. Like, it is just not a good time to be in the ground. So, but that's where we're at. We don't usually get this kind of weather in April. So
Yep.
it's hard.
Yep, everyone's doing that.
Yeah, hard time to be in construction.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to get nice, right?
Yes,
That's it.
starting today.
Or it might help.
That's all I have.
Thank you.
In case you remember.
Yeah.
I also was able to update a staff report in the afternoon council packet update. So again, with the change in policy, we're able to approve contracts and anything over $10,000 I'll put in my staff report. So right now, that's a contract for strategic planning services for our council retreat. And so there was a poll that was, and I mentioned this in an email that was sent out, as well as the poll that went out for dates. And I just wanted to confirm to make sure everyone knew.
Confirm that you guys
confirm
know what's going on that
You
weekend.
know what's going on that weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend. And so that Friday and Saturday was where we had the most response. And so Dave is unable to make it on Fridays. Paul, would you be able to make that weekend? Okay. And so because if that wouldn't work, we would have to push it out basically till July. So based on those dates.
So is there a way, so you can't attend Friday, could you attend Saturday?
Oh, yeah, I'll be
Yeah,
there. Saturday.
okay, he's able to be there
Okay.
Saturday.
Okay. So we
And
just
you can
bring
fill,
up to
and you
speed.
can fill me in on
Yeah.
what transpires on Friday. I mean, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
As long as you guys are all clear. Memorial Day
Memorial
weekend, Friday and
That was
Saturday.
like
Sure,
three
there's
times,
no
like,
right.
boom.
By the way,
Right.
By the way.
don't miss.
It's like,
Just in case you didn't put camping on your calendar, but you were gonna go camping.
Well, I noticed that Scott was maybe.
I saw the writing on the wall. I'm like, well, if that's what you guys want, I will be there. But I was keeping my options open.
So, okay, so I will confirm. And just to let you know that they come highly recommended. They did the strategic plan for the Chamber of Commerce as well as the EDC. So they'll have information on, I mean, they know the area, they have that information as far as what other agencies are doing, but also those agencies just raved about the process as well. So
Very excited.
yes, excited. The other thing that I haven't been able to get out though was on the diversity, equity, inclusion workshop. And I looked at dates. And so in talking with the consultant, they can, Tuesdays and Thursdays are the better days. They can also make Fridays work, but I don't think we will tend to make Fridays work. So days that seem to work better would be May 24th, May 31st, and then I was trying to only go to June until until school got out. So it would be June 2nd, June 7th, June 9th, or June 14th.
So in June, because it's the end of school, would we be competing with anything else that might be going on?
And when I
Graduation
saw the school
ceremonies or-
count, so the 16th is the last day of school.
Okay.
The
The seniors don't
16th.
graduate before the rest of the class?
I believe
graduates?
so, yeah, the week
Yeah.
before.
But it's on the weekend.
Yeah, it's on the
Right.
weekend.
So this is at nighttime?
Yes, it would be, I would
Tuesday or
6 to
Thursday
8 on a
Mhm.
Tuesday or Thursday night, yeah. And so in looking at the school calendar, I didn't see anything on the school calendar. I didn't even see any games because I think when you get into June, I think all the sports are wrapped up. Unless they are lucky enough to head on the state. But
So a 5:31 might be a lot for us just because we're already attending. the
Right,
two
right, yeah,
days,
exactly, yeah.
and it's like overload.
Mhm.
So what are you guys thinking? Maybe pushing it into June?
As long as it's on a Tuesday or Thursday night. I'm fine.
Thursdays
Yeah.
are better for me than Tuesdays.
okay.
So that would be the
If that
7th or the 14th then, right?
Yeah, Thursday's bad for me. Got
Thursdays are
meetings.
bad for you?
Well, I've got meetings on Thursdays.
Oh, okay. Do you have any flexibility though?
I can, yeah.
And my June is open so far, so whatever is good for me.
So June 7th, Tuesday, June 7th.
Let's do it.
That's good.
Sure.
I will confirm with the consultant and that should be plenty of time out.
Then you just send out an
That's a
email.
Tuesday, yes, and I'll send out an email, yeah.
And we're inviting the public, right?
What?
We're inviting the public.
Yes, yeah, and that gives me time to provide the materials and everything, yeah. It's a community workshop.
Oh,
So,
community,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Mhm. So, there we go, got that.
Been in the works for a little.
Yeah, yes.
Long time.
COVID has caused multiple delays
Yeah.
on that one.
And are we looking at the same facilitators?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
with the woman leading?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, if you wanted to reach out to her, I think she's expecting that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you send me her
Yes,
contact
I
information
can.
again? I
Mhm.
don't know that I held on to it. It was so long. ago.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Was it?
Okay, so, and then the last one, confirming the date for the August council meeting. So typically for August, we change the date of the council meeting because it is
Oh, yeah.
Fair Week. And so do we want to do the week before or the week after? Are we okay with that practice?
Is it the first weekend?
No, so
Fair?
it's the third weekend.
Third.
So August 18th, I believe, is the current council date,
Mhm.
and that, and
11th,
fair
the
starts
25th.
that
Mhm.
week as well, so.
I'd rather do it the week before.
Okay.
So August
Good.
11th.
That if, I mean, I'm not the only voice, but I would.
I
rather do
can
that.
do the 11th.
Okay.
Yeah,
How you doing?
Sure, whatever.
No, that's fine.
sure, whatever.
Thanks, Paul.
Sounds good.
You're gonna be selling solar panels anyway, so.
I already have it scheduled on that day.
That, so in our policies, it says that it will be held the week before. I just want to confirm with
Okay.
everyone.
That's okay.
that- Yes, yes.
Mine's already in there. so I
Okay,
have to
perfect,
go.
wonderful.
Yeah, we don't have a choice. It's
Yeah.
already in.
And then also, just giving you a heads up, as we talked a little bit about street stuff, at the next council meeting, there'll be our first public hearing on the 6-year TIP, which is an annual update, and we'll have public hearing in May and in June. So. just Go forward to.
Is that public hearing at this meeting then?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
So packed house. That's what you're
We shall see.
saying?
We are looking to do a revamp of it though. So we're looking to change how we approach that, if that makes.
Okay.
We've been putting all of the projects on there and with no expectation of completing all of them in the 6 years, we might change that process to actually make it a true
What is the
6-year
6
plan
years?
that we anticipate to move forward with.
I like it.
that's Public Works Week, by the way, so expect something. Public Works Week.
Yeah, oh, I also
Public
wanted to
Works Week.
mention, if anyone has been following our Facebook page, or anything else, yeah. You are more than welcome to also, check our website. But Carolyn's been doing a great job of posting, the work that Public Works has been doing, as well as, working with Anders on getting things on our Facebook page for, Safety Week, which was last week. And everyone participated. It was amazing, as well as.
The We Went- Was that the We Want Orange?
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah,
wore
yeah,
orange.
yeah.
Saw that.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We ate orange food.
Yeah,
I
we ate
watched.
orange food. Yeah.
Nice.
Mhm.
Like what? Should I ask?
Carrots.
Oh,
Cheetos.
There you go.
Oranges.
Cheetos.
Cheers to oranges, that's pretty much what we got.
That sounds like a 2-year-old's lunch.
Cheddar cheese. Got the
Yeah,
orange.
right, yeah.
It's great.
Reese's.
We've also been with these traffic changes, we've been able to leverage the Text My Gov, and so people are signing up for that.
Good.
And people that we don't know, so it's not just us.
For the longest, like a
Great.
week, it was only Carolyn.
Right, exactly. So we're ready.
So the two
Let
of
us
us
know.
are in the know.
Let us know if something goes on, yeah. So that's been good to see, and we're working to incorporate that in our communication plan with everything that goes on. So we're getting there. We're getting there. And then we'll work on doing some more publicity around the Text My Gov app, as well as working on like QR codes to put on the trash cans, if this needs assistance or if you see something,
Great.
send it in. So, yep. There we go. More to come.
And the quick creek they put by the post office is
I
almost
know.
gone again.
I know. But the weather's drying up.
But the weather is, they'll be able to fix it soon.
Yes.
And it's not
Yeah.
freezing anymore, so
Right.
that helps.
Yeah. Mhm.
I know it's not their fault. I was just.
I know, I saw that the other day.
I'd like to ask another question about something she's got on here.
Go for it.
Fireworks ban,
Yes,
where are we at on that? I'm real concerned about doing a fireworks ban.
Mhm.
And I want to make sure that we've got everything in line in order, and as a last resort, do a fireworks ban.
And so right now, the criteria is being looked at the county. And so there's a draft, I think, but again, it's doesn't have, Marlon hasn't provided his review on what the criteria are that would trigger any potential action.
But we're looking at a ban on use as opposed to sales. Correct? That's what we're
Right.
looking at.
And that's
So-
just if we're like in a, like if there's a statewide fire ban.
No, so it would be, we're looking at fuels, we're looking at, red flag warning, those types of
East wind.
criteria. Yeah, we're looking at very specific criteria, not just, it's been a little dry lately.
Yeah.
So trying to make it so that it isn't
It needs to
subjective.
be very particular.
Right.
Yeah. I like
Very
those assumptions,
precise
yes.
about,
Measure.
this is the triggers.
Right,
And
and
I just need to make sure that Marlon understands that.
he does,
Okay.
yeah, and one of the things that we also discussed a little bit too is, a lot of this comes down to education and just making sure people are smart with what they're doing. When people point out the Eagle Creek fire as a reason for this, that isn't.
No.
That was illegal on many levels. And again, with what we're doing, I feel like we're trying to fix stupid as best possible. And so, again, so we're working on trying to make regulation that is subjective and makes sense, as well as have an education component to make sure people have smart use of
That's right,
fireworks.
right.
So that's, and Ann and I are,
Kind of like what they try to do with liquor.
What?
Do so.
Kind of like, what they try to do with alcohol. And marijuana. Don't get me going.
I don't have
that.
Yeah, too
I was like,
late.
wow, I'm
It's not even
getting
started.
so anyway,
So Dave.
now going down a rabbit hole, that's where it stands.
That is a deep rabbit hole.
I got time. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
Hush. Don't
We don't
encourage
have
it.
time.
I would entertain a motion to approve the vouchers.
I move to approve the vouchers.
Whatever you said.
Yeah.
Second, thank you. First and a second, any discussion about the vouchers? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
All right. Do any of you have anything for the greater good? Do it.
Our little project at Foster Creek and Ryan Allen, or at Rockford Drive, the orange gunk.
Oh, right.
Yes, yesterday I met with Tim, Elsie, and who was the other ones with me?
Was Scott with you?
I wasn't there.
And he wouldn't know.
Yeah, you're looking at my stuff.
Bob Hamlin, thank you.
Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
got it.
Wow.
Anyway, hip waders on, we went and we took two different samples, a series of samples in two different locations within the orange leachate. And they will be sending those off. We did both water samples and actual leachate / soil samples. So we'll take a look at that and hopefully we'll have some kind of results on that. There was also some discussion about the capped wells that they have up on the, I call it a dump because that's what it was. It wasn't a landfill, it was a dump. And in the first meeting we had down there, Ken Doherty was with us. He was pretty apprehensive about for some reason,
Hmm.
about opening those up. But thinking about it, that's all private property now, as far as I understand.
Mhm.
And so I don't know what the legalities are as far as us, i.e. city, or us as a county coming in and saying, we want to test those wells, since it's private property. So I don't know where all that stands. And so I think that's a discussion that will probably happen further down the road. But that's where we're at with it right now. So
So county is setting off to get tested.
Right. I was gonna ask, was the county
Or
paying for this
Bob
testing?
set it up to
the
get
county is
tested,
paid
or-
for it, yes.
Okay.
And which kind of, I appreciated was the fact that Tim actually asked me, where do you want to take the samples at?
That's good.
So we had control over where we actually pulled the samples from. So one was right on that west bank of
Mhm.
where that stuff was.
Right by Mike by there.
Yeah. So,
So that is BSK the lab? That-
Pardon?
Are you sending it to BSK?
I don't know
Yeah.
which
Whoever
lab
the
they're,
county
which
sent it.
lab they're using.
They-
but
Yeah, there.
Is that what it is? So anyway,
Did they give you an expected turnaround on the results?
I don't know, Ben, how long did it take us to get the first results? About a month?
I think it was 2 weeks for the lab to get it back. I think it is about what that was. And then it took longer because we're getting the assistance from the engineer UCD to interpret that for us before presenting it.
But I gotta tell you, it was gross.
Yeah.
No, he's.
What do they suspect that it is? I know what you're talking about now. It looks like rusty water.
Uh-huh.
And
Or rusty something.
Sludge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's no idea.
Well, we've done
Until that-
testing before and it says that it's, what, iron
Iron
bacteria.
oxide, iron oxide bacteria.
If that's what it is.
So, in a little bit of research that I've been doing, the actual perimeter of the actual landfill is all of the area that's been landscaped as a wildflower meadow,
Yeah, I remember when they did that.
which is
At the
up,
lodge?
right,
Right out front.
just outside the
Yeah.
lodge.
Yeah, yeah.
That is where the
That's where it was.
actual quote unquote landfill is.
Really?
One of the
One of them.
I didn't
One
know
of the
that.
spots, yeah.
Interesting.
that was it, the golf course.
So anyway, yeah.
Mhm.
So that's nearly across the street from Rock Cove then,
Mhm.
Yeah.
or the museum,
Mhm.
more like that.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So anyhow,
Thanks for doing that. Yep. Anybody else?
Nothing.
Can I ask a question since we're here? And it's off topic entirely, but I was wondering is the city looking for any kind of financing or federal grants for a possible mail carrier, an extra mail carrier for the area? It just feels like there's a lot of building here, more people coming in and, you can't get a mailbox or have mail delivered because there's one person burdened with the whole thing and it's.
Fortunately, not our purview.
Pardon me?
Not our purview, unfortunately.
But
But
could you
that's a
as a
really good
city try to
question.
go for federal funding to get more money to have a budget to work with from the feds or?
The post office.
As opposed to.
Post
that's
office,
post
yeah,
office.
post,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just
postmaster
totally,
general.
Yeah,
Completely out of our hands.
yeah.
So,
Be writing some letters.
Yeah.
Carolyn scooped me. It is Spruce Up Stevenson. It's a nice, easy,
Ruined it.
small bite. It's 9 to noon. The first one, it was 9 until 4 or something like that. So 9 to noon. Bring tools, bring your great attitude. There's shirts if you get there soon enough. Food vouchers for those that participate. And yeah, it's great to walk, to travel through town and see all of that activity, and it will be rain or shine. Even got Liberty excited about coming down. Been very busy with the Downtown Association. We're going through a couple of different workshops. One of them is working, our Downtown Association won a competitive grant application for Burke Consulting, working on strategic plan, how we want to do for the next couple of years with our organization. And that has brought up some very exciting conversation, a very interesting interesting conversations. So we have been doing some pretty amazing things in the downtown, and this is really just going to fine tune it and really help us focus on where we're going to apply our efforts. And then in economic vitality workshop, it's also going through the Main Street organization, but is also tied in with RDI. And so we're very familiar with RDI. So and it's kind of a hub thing, so that they picked Stevenson as the hub, and then we'll pull different organizations from around. So we'll have our third and final meeting, but it'll be in person with these neighboring communities, and that'll be next week. So lots of activity, and then had the opportunity to I was invited to the ribbon cutting at Riverview, and it's like I had a chance to speak with the CEO. We've always considered downtown a gem. It's a resource. It's very exciting to see an enthusiastic business base, both businesses and property owners, not only working on their buildings, but then also participating in financial opportunities. So Riverview had presented us with the great big check for $5,000 for the downtown
Nice.
association. So lots of cool things happening at our cute little downtown. So
How can somebody get involved with the STA?
well, you need to talk to the outreach committee, and I know the chair. Yeah, just send me an email, or I'll just tell them we'll work it
Love
out.
to get involved. I mean, Kelly is just so amazing to think that she's coming up with. And-
Goodness.
Yeah.
The energy that she brings to our organization.
Mhm.
Oh, which reminds me, approved the right of way for the streetery. Yeah, so it was a very last minute, because we applied for a grant last year to put together a streetery.
Mhm.
That didn't go through, so that's why we had some really nice distressed pallets, and we had the picnic tables with the
That's
artwork
good.
on it.
Yeah, you
For
made
what
it
it was,
work.
it was
Absolutely.
amazing. As a
Yeah, you
concept,
made it
it was
work.
perfect. This year, spending real money on some mobile fencing that will look really nice with Derek Matheny working on it. We're planning on a
Nice.
Memorial Weekend for the kickoff, and it's gonna be cool.
Does that mean we won't be able to attend because we're all the
Yeah, we're gonna be at a retreat.
retreat?
We won't be able to attend the kickoff. Memorial Weekend, remember?
Maybe we could take a break.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what I'm thinking,
Yeah, maybe we could.
Like about a 3-hour break. Even though I'm only gonna be there for
yeah, we're
Saturday.
supposed to be rolling out our downtown plan on that weekend. This is a bad idea. I'm just saying, Memorial Weekend is starting to sound like a bad idea.
I
Yeah,
love
what do
it.
you-
It does.
Maybe we should reconsider.
I mean,
that.
mayor, right, yeah.
Full again?
Yeah. I'd also like to say that just, I walk a lot around town. I walk to work, I walk, whatever. I walk to these meetings, and I get stopped consistently for two things. One place I work, and two is because people are asking about housing. So I know we're going to talk about that when we get going. I know it's on everyone's mind, but like it's literally on the minds of people like every day. So
Oh,
this is
sure it
not
is.
just like a little. I have multiple people stop me in the store or when I'm walking, like consistently about affordable housing around here. So
Yeah, it's
Absolutely on the
a-
I
list.
mean, it's
It's a
bigger than like I
several
know
decades.
we bring a lot
long
of
issue.
different things up, and there's a lot of things that are important to Stevenson as a whole. Like this is just, yeah, I get stopped, often to talk about. So
Yep, it's absolutely on the.
I just wanted
on the list.
to, I know we all think about it, but it hadn't, we hadn't said it this meeting, so we need to say it at least once because Mary's not here to bring it up. So
Did we also talk about maybe inviting spokespersons that? would
Not at that
benefit?
meeting.
Yeah,
Not
where?
at that meeting.
What we
We
could
are
do.
identifying strategy and priority,
Mhm.
and then this will obviously be one, and then we'll dive in. We've got
Okay.
a very full agenda.
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
strategic plan. So
Yeah.
I see you guys wrapping up, not so fast.
I'm
Too late, I already wrapped up.
So yes, did you have anything you wanted to
No,
bring up,
uh-uh.
Christine?
Other than it's Earth Day tomorrow, everybody be kind to
Well,
your.
I mean, I guess I'm
Plant a tree.
dispersing all my 3,000 socks that I disperse every year.
To who?
To
To
all,
what?
normally 11 local agencies.
Mhm.
So domestic violence and sexual assault, WAGAP,
Oh, yes.
a few churches, DSHS, Brigham Fish, they distribute
Yes,
to all the
yeah, they got
websites.
huge outreach, yeah.
All, the 11 of them, so I got a few boxes out today, but I have 12 boxes stacked to my ceiling in my basement. My back hurts. That's all though.
Okay, that is the end of the regular agenda. We do have an executive session scheduled for tonight. The purpose of this executive session is to convene in, under RCW 42.30.1101I to discuss with legal counsel representing the agency matters relating to agency enforcement actions. We will go out, we will do this for 15 minutes, so that will bring us out of executive session at 7:55.
Can we take a 5-minute break prior?
Then we'll be take a 5-minute break, and then well, wait a minute. We intercession now, or take your break and then we'll go into session. Let's do that. Yeah.
So, okay, so 15-minute session,
But we're gonna take a
and
5-minute
we'll
break.
go into
before
the
we go.
session at
5 minutes from now.
7:45.
7:45 until 8 o'clock.
Okay. Okay, let me,
And to be clear, that's the Google chat instead
it
of.
will, yes, it will be.
Okay, so I will close the Zoom and I will open the Google.
Okay.
All right.
Close enough. I wasn't even.
Like I said, it's normally that time we have.
It took a while.
Okay, it is 8 PM. There was no need for additional time added onto our executive session. After coming out of a session, there are no decisions needed to be made, and there were nothing. So that being the end of our agenda, I would like to adjourn the meeting at 8:01. Thank you very much.
Thank you.